It's 8 a.m., and the cars that bring children to St. Timothy's are starting to arrive. This father and his 3-year-old daughter are walking to the St. Timothy's entrance gate, which serves as a security barrier from the outside world. St. Timothy's Child Center is located on the grounds of St. Timothy's Episcopal Church. The church charges a very modest rent for the classrooms and playground, which helps the preschool hold tuition at about $250 a month. Here, just inside the gate, some parents are saying goodbye to their children. As children arrive, they play freely on the playground until about 9, when the formal school day begins. St. Timothy's offers full-day and half-day care for children 2 through 5 years old, a kindergarten for 5 and 6-year-olds, and after-school care for elementary school children. The parents of the children at St. Timothy's range from dual-career professional couples to enlisted personnel from the military bases nearby. The people of Hawaii have an extraordinarily diverse ethnic background, which is reflected in St. Timothy's student population, a combination of Japanese, Chinese, Caucasian, Filipino, and Polynesian ethnicities. Here, 4-year-old Danny is saying goodbye to his mother, baby brother, and little sister, who doesn't want to leave. Parents with infants and toddlers who do not yet go to preschool often stay for a half hour or more in the morning before finally saying goodbye.
Give us a tissue and we grow it later. Bye. Oh, gosh. All right. Bye-bye.
Lisa Pang and her father have just arrived at school. Mr. Pang will help Lisa put her lunchbox and blanket away in her cubbyhole. Mr. Pang then checks the message board and picks up a notice from Lisa's mail pouch. He also signs his daughter in on the attendance sheet. Concern about child abuse and abduction has made it necessary for American schools like St. Timothy's to give a great deal of attention to security. The sign-in sheet reflects this concern. The fence that runs around the school helps the staff monitor the comings and goings of visitors, as well as to keep the children from wandering off. Here a teacher's aide helps Carrie and Michelle play with a guinea pig. Linda Culler, St. Timothy's director, told us that it's especially important for urban children to get a chance to interact with animals and nature. The formal school day begins today for the 4-year-old class with a word skills exercise. The children take turns coming to the front, selecting a white flannel cloud, and placing it on the blue sky. Children are then asked to face the class and describe what they think the clouds they select look like. Cheryl, the teacher, calls on Mike to come forward. After some encouragement, Mike says, "This is a cloud." Cheryl says, "Yes, it's a cloud. What does your cloud look like, Mike?" Mike says, "Like a cloud." Cheryl explained to us that the pedagogical point of the felt board exercise was to teach the concept of simile. She said, "I was trying to make sure the children all had the concept of something being like another thing without being the other thing. It's a trickier concept for some kids than others." Children at St. Timothy's continuously are encouraged to use words to describe, evaluate, and name objects in their world. Here Cheryl reads the children a book about making soup. Soup making is the theme for the day. There are 18 children in the class and 2 teachers, Cheryl, who has a BA degree in education, and Linda, who has a 2-year degree. In the United States, preschool teacher salaries are very low and turnover is very high. One by one, the children are choosing activities for Learning Center time. Stu will point to the block in front of Cheryl to indicate that he wants to begin center time in the block corner. Lisa chooses the Writing Center. Billy will indicate his choice by pointing to the block, and Cheryl cups her hand to her ear to suggest she wants him to express his choice with words. Here, 4 girls are busy drawing in the Writing Center. Derek, the boy in the red shirt, will finish his puzzle and bring it to Cheryl. Cheryl will ask him to tell her what he has done. He says, a puzzle. Cheryl asks, what kind of puzzle? And then helps him describe it. Throughout the day, Cheryl and Linda encourage children to put their actions, thoughts, desires, and feelings into words. American criticisms of the Chinese and Japanese schools in our study reveal the great importance Americans place on self-expression. According to Americans, Chinese children are given too few opportunities to express themselves, and Japanese children, although allowed to talk freely throughout the school day, get little in the way of teacher prompting, modeling, and correction of their verbal expression. Here, 2 girls and a boy are playing in the home area. Lisa, in the blue dress, has announced that she is the mother. Rose, in pink, has chosen the role of aunt. Derek has refused to play the part Lisa assigned him as the baby, choosing instead to be the family dog. Imaginative play is taken very seriously by the staff of St. Timothy's. As a teacher explained, when children play house, it's play, but it's also important work. They get a chance to imagine what it's like to be someone else. When they play the part of the mother or father and discipline the naughty baby, they get a chance to work through some of their feelings about the way their parents discipline them. Sometimes we'll have a child whose parents are getting divorced, and some heavy things come out in the home area. This kind of play gives kids the chance to deal with these issues on a level they can cope with. At St. Timothy's, children have a dozen or more activities to choose from at Learning Center time. Here, 3 boys are playing in the block corner. Derek is stringing beads. Chris is playing with an old radio a father has donated to the school. Learning centers are at the core of St. Timothy's curriculum. Linda Culler, the director of St. Timothy's, told us that learning centers give children the chance to make choices and to find activities that suit their interests and developmental abilities. Americans were generally critical of the lack of choice they perceived in the Chinese and Japanese preschools in our tapes. A St. Timothy's teacher commented, "The Japanese school has some nice materials. The craypas and origami activities look good. But children don't seem to have much chance to choose how to play. Here, we try to give children a choice of what they want to do. When we do art projects, we encourage them to make whatever they want. In the Chinese school, all the children had to build the same thing with the blocks. That's totally opposite to our approach. If you leave children alone, they make things we can never think of to tell them to make. Here, Cheryl takes Carrie by the hand and leads him over to a pile of Legos. She asks him, "Did you take out these Legos, Carrie?" "No? I think you did. I'd like you to clean them up."
Could you put it down? No. You have to build it.
While Cheryl is busy helping Lisa zip up her play dress, Carrie wanders off and gets into an altercation with Stu. Cheryl once again tries to get Carrie to clean up. When Carrie again refuses, Cheryl takes him by the hand and makes him sit down next to her. Cheryl says, "Carrie, listen to me. Look at me when I'm talking to you. I want you to go over there and clean up the Legos you dumped out before someone steps on them and gets hurt." When Carrie ignores her, Cheryl carries him to a corner in the back of the classroom. Cheryl tells Carrie he can return when he's ready to clean up the Legos. An American teacher commented on this scene. "I like the way the teacher's firm with him, but doesn't raise her voice. When he won't look her in the eye. Well, when you can't engage a child, when you can't get him to look at you or talk to you, then you have no choice but to do like she did there, and use a time out to let him settle down and think things over." Cheryl told us that she's been working hard with Carrie all year long to improve his self-control and his ability to put his feelings and frustrations into words. Cheryl told us that Carrie has made a lot of progress. After thinking things over, Carrie will clean up the Legos. The 45-minute learning center time is over. The children gather in a circle, sitting in their assigned positions. Linda leads them in singing and play acting a song about frogs.
Eating the most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. Never jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. And there were many little speckled frogs. Plum to me, two little speckled frogs.
After a bathroom break and a snack of juice and crackers, there's a period of free play. Here, a teacher has just broken up a fight in the sandbox. The boy on the left, with his hand firmly on the shovel, says he had it first. The boy on the right makes the same claim and accuses the other boy of having hit him. The teacher asks each boy to put his case into words instead of hitting each other. Americans who watched this footage were generally supportive of this approach to dealing with children's conflicts. Japanese teachers were tactfully critical. One Japanese teacher said, "Talking like that with children about disagreement seems a bit heavy. It reminds me of marriage